Next on Worcester News tonight, public transportation in the city facing a funding deficit. What changes are on the way? Plus, see a pothole, report a pothole. An interactive dashboard gives drivers the chance to report holes in the roads. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. The Worcester Regional Transit Authority is facing a almost $1 million deficit, which means it may have to hike its fares and cut services. Administrator Jonathan Church says it would be the first time the WRTA increased fares since January 2009. He says an advisory board will hold public meetings within the next six weeks to get feedback from riders. He says public transportation is important for many people in the city, most notably last week during a snowstorm.
A large snowstorm, we were providing service on the road for the entire day. When the governor asked that people stay at home and not be on the roads for the plow, we were still providing service throughout the day, and so we're here when people need us to be there and get where they need to go.
Church expects the advisory board to vote in April on potential fare increases. He says they will continue to work with leaders at the state and local level to try and get more funding. Massachusetts is trying to make it easier for drivers to report potholes in the road. Mass DOT is expanding its pothole information program. It was put into effect over the past year in Worcester and Springfield. The program gives drivers the opportunity to use a pothole dashboard, which includes a map detailing things like pothole locations and size. It also gives drivers the opportunity to call in and report potholes. On city streets, Worcester says they will wait until April to fill the holes, but will do a temporary fix in the meantime. Drivers we spoke with say they have noticed a lot of potholes this winter.
I happen to have a vehicle that is low to the ground, and that's a big problem for me. So I've had rims come off.
Especially on my street, there are at least 3 or 4 of them that have gotten a lot worse with the plowing.
And potholes can be reported through Mass DOT's pothole hotline number at 857-368-6999. The new Worcester Blackstone Gateway Visitor Center is set to enter phase 2 of the project this spring. Mass DOT announced Friday construction is expected to be finished on the new multi-use facility by July 2018. The building will house a visitor center and the DCR region's headquarters. It will also mark the completion of the Quinsigamond bike spur, which connects the facility to the Blackstone bike path and the Route 146 pedestrian bridge. The project is expected to cost almost $15 million and is being funded by federal and state sources. The Auburn police officer who was struck by a vehicle during a car chase last weekend is speaking one-on-one with Worcester News tonight. Officer Luis Santos returned home from the hospital Thursday. He says he believes someone special was watching over him. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
Auburn police officer Luis Santos says he's sore but lucky to be alive.
My spirits are great. I am very happy to be here with my family.
The father of 4 young children was released from the hospital Thursday. Police say Santos was intentionally hit by 47-year-old Matthew Ostrander during a chase on Saturday. Santos was deploying stop sticks near Route 20 in Auburn. The 15-year veteran officer remembers the SUV Ostrander was driving coming at him.
If you watch it, it's fast, but if you're in the moment, it's very slow. Blacked out, I lost consciousness.
Santos says he was lucky to have landed in a snowbank because if it was pavement, his injuries could have been a lot worse. He says he woke up to people trying to help him.
The first thing I said to myself was, I'm alive, I am alive. I'm in deep pain, but I'm alive.
Wearing an Auburn Strong t-shirt and Ron Tarantino Jr. hat, Santos says he thinks about Officer Tarantino every day and knew he was watching over him Saturday.
Definitely have been thinking even more about him since that moment, and he's the one that made sure that I landed where I landed.
Santos is using a walker to get around. He sustained a lot of injuries.
A lot of soft tissue injuries in both legs, in my upper arm, my elbow area. The head, obviously, we were concerned, with that specifically at first. Concussion was diagnosed, and then we also have upper fibular fracture.
He says he has a long road of healing ahead of him, but is looking forward to getting back to work.
You know, the body will heal, and so will the mind, you know, as we go along.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Glad to see he's doing okay. Thank you, Rosalind. Dudley police are investigating an armed robbery at Marty's Liquors. Police responded around 8 p.m. Thursday night. Police say the suspect threatened the clerk with a knife and got away with an undisclosed amount of cash. He is described as a male around 5'4", wearing blue gloves with white fingertips and had covered his face. Anyone with any information is asked to call Dudley police. In Westboro, police say an employee stole more than $70,000 from Julios Liquors. Roy Menendez of Shrewsbury used his credit card to receive money on fake returns. Menendez was taken into custody by Westboro police Friday morning. He was set to appear in Westboro District Court. Experts call teen dating violence a growing problem. This month, local programs are raising awareness about the issue. Our Catherine Andrioli has more.
February is National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. The YWCA in Worcester says it's an important issue year-round.
It's national statistics indicate that 1 out of 3 teens is abused before they're adults. And in my own group, sometimes I've seen even higher rates.
Maggie Nicholson is a domestic violence counselor. She works with victims of teen dating violence, in some cases as early as middle school.
Any sort of signs of control early on, usually are warning signs for abuse. So that's definitely a big part of our education.
Domestic violence and assault incidents are also a big issue on college campuses nationwide. Assumption College's Title IX director Grace Blunt says she has seen more incidents this year than in the past.
There's no conversations, it's all texting, so it's at a distance. So our students in colleges today are at a disadvantage with their social skills, which then leads into instances of sexual violence or assault on campus.
Blunt says the lack of communication may confuse what defines consent. She says many times students also feel they can't report it.
Sometimes they won't report because it's their best friend's boyfriend, it could be their best friend's roommate, and they don't want to upset that kind of relationship. Could be the kid across the hall.
Assumption says they have developed resources for students to report incidents of assault. Through their website, they say it has increased reporting.
Oh, you can go right onto our Safer website and fill it out yourself. It's a really good, secure app, and the students are feeling much more comfortable.
Blunt says it's important to educate students on healthy relationships.
That starts with the moral values and the moral compass and what kind of person are you.
In Worcester, Catherine Andrioli, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester School Committee announced plans to assemble a group to resolve absentee problems in the public schools. Studies revealed at Thursday night's meeting showed almost 15% of students at city schools missed 10% or more of the 180 school days. The percentage is on average with similar cities like Springfield and Boston. School Committee member Donna Calorio says it's important for students to be in school in their learning year, so a task force seems appropriate.
That we will, reveal as we move forward. In some of the suggestions may be to look at some of the school districts and some of the schools. Let's look at individual schools. What schools have excellent attendance? Why do they have excellent attendance? And really, what can we do to maybe mirror some of the schools that are doing phenomenal?
Studies show high school students are absent the most in Worcester, specifically in grade 12.